Welcome to one more session of this React, right? Yesterday we discussed about how to use multiple elements. Is it right? And there are three ways. One is enclosing all elements in one element, like division. That is the one method. One more is enclosing all elements in square brackets, but we need to use comma like this after every element. There is a comma here. And fragment method, enclosing all elements in React fragment, or we can use a fragment here. What it is called? This is called a fragment. Is it right? So that's what we have seen. And whatever you are writing inside the React, that's not called HTML, but instead it's called JSX elements. That is JavaScript XML. Okay. So JSX is allowing us to write HTML inside the React. So in other words, JSX is HTML-like syntax used by React that extends ECMAScript so that HTML-like syntax can coexist with JavaScript. So this is what yesterday's our topic. And let me start my Visual Studio Code. As you are familiar, I need to move that project to my Visual Studio Code. And I need to start my NPM. Is it right? First, let me move this project, or that is, let me open that project. I'm opening that my project here. Start your project, we need to use npm start to run the project. Okay, open project folder in VSC, that is Visual Studio Code. At terminal, you need to type npm start. Okay, this will be our terminal, right? So here terminal is there, terminal you can get it from here. npm start here. I typed it here. npm start at my project. My project is yes, September React. Then it will show you that compile successfully. Right? Now it is showing the output. So this is one, it is showing it. Right? So now we can go ahead for the next one now. It is today's topic. This is not our today's topic actually. Just this is repeated. npm start. Okay. So then next one, we need to go for expressions. JS expressions which are written inside the curly brackets allow only things that evaluate to some value like string, number, array, and map methods. Right? And what it is saying that curly brackets. What are the curly brackets? These are the curly brackets. Is it right? These are the curly brackets. For example, if you define a variable in JavaScript, how can you call it? So you can define a variable with let or variable or constant, right? So we may use most of the time constant, right? Say for example, x equals to something, I'll write it here. Say 10, I'll write it. And this 10 value, if you want to display in the output, then you have to say here expression and you have to use x. Is it clear? That's what it is saying, that expression. So that's what the expression it is. Let us go for this. Now I want to create, what is this actually? Okay, we return this again. That's the comments actually, like comment. I want to remove everything here. So I just write only React. So now, in fact, here you can see you don't require both React and React DOM. Only one is enough. Anyway, I'm keeping that. Now I want to define a one variable here. It is right. So where shall I define a variable here? So I want to define a variable here, constant, right? I'm index.js file, and I have only one file. It is, and I'm going to write it here. Say course, okay, and here I'm going to define the full stack development, right? So full stack development it is. Is it right? Now this is what defined it. A variable has been defined, and I want to call it here. So what I said here, what we need to use, curly braces, right? Curly braces has to be used here. So I'll write here H3. We are learning something it is, and expression I'm going to call it here. And what is my variable? It is course it is, right? And save this. Done. So now if we can run this, we are learning full stack development it is. Is it clear? So whatever you defined it. So it is not only for that. You can use it for numbers also. Okay. So something I want to write it here. Say constant age, I'll write it, and age is say some number it is, right? So number I'm not putting in double quotes. So I want to write something here H3, and I'll write age is, okay. I'll write curly braces. I can use age here it is. Perfect. The next one, I want to go for what else? Say it is calculations. We can use it for calculations. So for example, H4 I'm taking it. You can take any tag, doesn't matter, or any JSX element. Let us say that. And I can write here 10 plus 30 equals to how much it is? 10 plus 30. So equals to. So is it going to show any output? 10 plus 30 is going to show? Definitely it's not. So this is going to display age is 20. 10 plus 30 is how much? It should be 40 here. How can I get it? By using expressions. You can use the expression, say 10 plus how much it is? 30. So whatever you are writing it, it is going to calculate it. Ten plus 30 is 48. Done. So this is how the expression we are going to use it. And where you are creating a variables, it is not allowed. That is JavaScript code, whatever JavaScript code you are writing it, it should be outside of the React. So where is the React here? It is the React here. This is part is the React. Okay, this part is the React it is. So you have to write the outside of the React. So this is totally JavaScript it is. Is it right? And JavaScript variables, you are calling it like this. And you can use it for the calculations. Right? So we'll go for the next one, and we'll see one simple example for calculation here with this expression. Okay. So, but I'm not copying this file. I think this is the first file, right? Expressions. Yes. So now it's a best practice. It is you need to copy these files, whatever files you are practicing. Okay. It is the file under src. We have index file, right? Only one index file, and I created a separate folder like this. Okay. And I can just give it expression 1. Paste it. So done. That is done. Next one, we will do one simple calculations and tell me one simple suggestion for me. That is, I want to calculate it. I want to create a one small a project here. That is a small application, which is useful for taking the input value from the user and displaying some result. Okay, that is, so most of the users will have some problem like calculations, right? If you talk about percentage, interest amount, is it right? If you talk about the interest amount, like when you take the bank loan or when you take a personal loan from friend, if they say that every month you have to pay 2%, okay? So for example, you have taken 1 lakh rupees from your friend and he says that interest amount is 2%, 2000. So, but what is the formula for that? Interest amount calculation app. Okay, let us do that. So what I require is I need to ask for interest amount. That is a loan amount. Okay, or we can say principal amount, right? Principal amount. Okay, and assume that principal amount is let us take 10,000, right? And rate of interest. Okay, so is say 2%. Now, how much is the result it is? What exactly you are getting here? How can we do that? We know that 10,000 2% is how much it is 200. That is, we know that simple calculation. But if it is, 10,282 rupees something, point 0.5 something, then there should be some formula, right? So we have one formula. What is that? So PTR by 100. That is a one simple school days formula, right? P for principal amount, R for rate of interest, T for time. But I'll remove this T. I don't want T. Just PR by 100. That means principal amount rate of interest. That means we can say into, right? It is a into by 100 is. So let us do this one, a simple example. We'll try this one with this. So constant uh, PRN, that's the principal amount. I'll take it as 10,000 and constant rate of interest ROI equals to 2% and constant okay PRN into rate of interest by 100 it is. Is it right? No. What is that? Result it is. Result equals to. Perfect it is? Yes, now it's everything is gone. So we define three variables here it is. So now I want to call this result here. How can we call it? I can call it here and H3. So interest amount is okay. And I want to call it here expression and I can write it result. Perfect. So save this. There is a one error. What was that? Yes, everything is done. Yes. So interest amount is how much? 200. For example, if I change this value to something called say 13,500 and okay and 21, it is like this. I'm writing it. It is very difficult, right? So now you are going to get it very easily. It is with this. Clear? So this is how the applications can be developed. It is. So we need a proper planning for this. We know that expressions, but how we are using it, that's very important. But here the problem here it is showing some result. It is 2704. But for what exactly it is? Interest amount for how much amount? How much interest it is not showing it. So I need to write interest amount, interest, I want to write it here, expression, rate of interest, right? You are going to get this rate of 2% of rate of interest of 4, okay? And I want to write here that is the PRN, that's the principal amount is, okay, I'm writing it like this. Now see, we have dynamic, it's basically variables which are calling it, it's not a dynamic, basically it's almost a fixed one, but we are going to make it dynamic also in future. So 2% rate of interest for 13.5, this one is this much. Now it is readable, right? It is very much understandable. Is it clear? So this is how the JavaScript and ReactJS we are using it here. And this is a perfect example to use this one. Still, if I want to make it more very interesting, right? This is a fixed value, right? We know almost a result, but I want to take the input value from the user. That is what my application main purpose is. So what can I do here? It is I can use something called prompt, which is there in JavaScript. So I can write enter principal amount here, and this is prompt enter rate of interest. Okay. So we may not know how much they are typing it. They may type 1 lakh or 1 crore or 50 lakhs. Okay. Now say this. Let us see whether it is working or not in this. It is asking there. This is the prompt. I'm typing this 55,000 something. Rate of interest is 2. 2% rate of interest for 55,000 is 1,101. And when I refresh it again, if I type something 34 point something like this, and 4% is 4% rate of interest for 34,245 is this much it is. Clear now? It is more dynamic now. And user is able to read. The UI is important. Why we are learning this React.js is basically the user interface. User experience should be good. Is it? Is it right? You can try different formulas, different concepts like this. For example, body mass index you talk about, and if you know, if you are good at conversions, right, inches to centimeters, centimeters to inches, right, or foreign it to some other heat or whatever it is, right? So for all these things, you can use it. You can take the input and you can ask for the conversion. Dollar you talk about. So now tell me for the dollar conversion. So what is the dollar rate today? Right. We will see this now. Who is going to give the input? Say I want to ask the um, $1 equals to this much, right? Yeah. How can we do the conversions here? That is, for example, if dollar amount is entered, okay. For example, if they enter 81.35, so it should say 1 rupee, right? So whatever amount they enter, for example, I'll enter in Indian rupees. Otherwise, we'll take Indian rupees. So I'll enter 500 rupees. Then I want to see that how much is dollar is for 500 rupees. How many dollars you will get it? Me how to display the date using JavaScript. Is it right? Is it right? Right or wrong? So for example, I'm trying it. I'll remove everything from here. I don't want all these things. right? I can directly call it here. So, today's date is, right? So what I said here, any function, you can call it like this. What you are saying, this is a function, it is right. Can I write it like this? Is it right? Or is it going to give an error message? I don't have any variable. Functions can be called directly and it is showing the error message. Can you see this? Date is not defined because you haven't defined nor JavaScript also. Because date is not like this, capital letter D. This is right. Got it? So let me go here, write D. Save it. Today's date is date. How come? So it's working, right? It is working. This is one method. Or if you want to define, say you don't want to directly here, so what you do is constant. So you write something here, date equals to, you can write it like this also. Is it right? So this is a variable and I can call it. Variable can be called it. So can we write it like this? I will show both the methods. It is because it's a function, it is a variable now. Now this time it will not give any error message. Friday, September and everything it is showing it. Is it right? This is how the date will be displayed. Here it is. Today's date it is, you are getting it. And we can use it so many other things also. Like if you want only date and time, minutes and seconds, we have so many other methods are available. For example, methods, date methods. So what is the main difference between the methods and a function? It is I am writing a date function, it is right. And next I am writing a date methods. What is the difference between the function and methods? So in simple terms, we can say that function can be called directly. Most of the time, if it is a class, if it is object-oriented programming, method will come inside. Whatever function you define inside a class, that's called a method. That's what we can say that. But one more way we can say that if it is not class or anything, you haven't defined any class, you haven't defined anything, functions, date functions can be called directly, but method requires a support of any object. Method requires a support of any object. Method requires support of an object. Is it right? Whereas function can execute on its own. Functions can execute on its own. That's what we did, right? So for example, when we called it function here directly, when we called the function, directly it was executing without any support of any object or anything. Is it clear? So that is the difference between about functions and methods. But we have a lot of methods are available here in our date, but we will use all that methods also. But in a next class is it fine? So I just if you those who want, those who are not aware of the date function, it's a very simple function.